Welcome in, lovely love. Today marks the completion point for the energy that is circulating from the full moon that we just had on June 29th in the sign of Capricorn, which is actually the opposite of Cancer, though we are in Cancerian season and we are still going to be feeling the effects of this retrograde. A common message that I was receiving in some of the last readings that I have done, there have been messages that your light is illuminating onto somebody's shadows. And it got me to thinking about shadows or blockages. And I do actually have some ghost cards here to reflect upon things that either may be eclipsed or hidden from us currently, or that we are working through, as well the energy of the collective, that the collective is in need of working through. So originally when I came here to do this reading, I do, and I cannot find certain card decks. I don't know what happened to them, but I do have chakra cards. I was going to use those in unison with these, but I cannot find those. So without further ado, let's see for our collective, please, or the collective that will be tuned in. What is it that we need to be working through? What may be eclipsed from us or hidden? So this card did come out. Outdated beliefs, ideologies, and illusions. That comes from societal conditioning, ancestral generational cycles that then turn into the pattern that becomes the program of our lives. So, as a collective, we are working through outdated beliefs, ideologies, and illusions. Those illusions may align with imposter syndrome, perfectionism, comparison, control, fear. All of those things are illusions. So let's see what else our ghosts can give us here in the messages, Spirit, for our collective. What is hidden from us or that we are currently moving through? Oh, so now isn't that funny? After I spoke about ancestral, generational, karmic, and inherited debt. So again, those are the things that we learn in childhood, and even karmic inherited debt is when you come here, you already have your contract written of what it is that you would like to accomplish within the time span that you are here in this experience and in this reality, in this timeline. If you do not adhere to what it is that you have signed up for, so when people talk about being a chosen one, like God chose them, while that may have some relevancy and be true to a certain degree, we actually write the story of our lives before we even incarnate into this timeline. But karmic inherited debt is also how you treat people. You know, if you're coming from a place of envy or jealousy, greed or selfishness, or if you are walking a path in the highest divinity. As well, the fact that it says inherited debt may mean that there is things that obviously have not been worked through that are being carried generationally through the bloodline. Now we have oversharing, overcaring, sensory overload, overworking, being overlooked, overused, and unacceptance. There is a lot of that taking taking place not only for myself and just content creators, but as a whole, I see it taking place. And it is something that I feel there is so much emphasis on materialism and reaching that level of bag to success in whichever way that is for each one of us individually. But it sucks when it's like an unequal exchange and you're not exactly feeling the reciprocal vibe. That may just indicate that right now during this full moon energy that is closing and even that retrograde that is taking place, this will also be the energy that is circulating around. Allow for yourself to take a break when it is calling for you to do so. It may even be that you are feeling such intense energy and you are trying to have a healthy outlet. So you're throwing yourself into like spiritual service in a certain regard, but even that sensory overload. So do be mindful of scrolling social media. Sometimes we can't really know where the root stems from being overlooked and overused. That can be from not loving ourselves unconditionally fully. That could be from challenge and great adversity and the voice and the noise of the outside world that eventually became your inner prison and kept you stuck in a certain regard. Overcaring, that sometimes does happen when we are empathic and compassionate and we attempt to meet and reach others where they are at. And unacceptance, that may mean that you are just unaccepting this great challenge and adversity that continues to cultivate and circulate around you. As well, not feeling accepted by others currently. I'm actually really surprised because earlier on, I did pull messages twice, and the same two messages came out, and they're not coming out here. External validation, life draining cords, harvesting of vital life force energy. So that is a collective thing that is taking place with the life draining cords and the harvesting of vital life force energy. Maybe during this time, it will be encouraged and imperative for you to step up your protection game, most especially when it comes to evil eye and curses and different things like baneful, full moon, witchcraft, and sorcery and magic and things that are done as worldwide curses. But also, when someone knows the essence of the illumination of you, sometimes they want what it is that you have. They want to be who it is that you are, and they will attempt to, the dark shadow elite, keep us in a mental prison of this adversity and challenge and insecurity and doubt and low self-esteem, um, to to have to receive that external validation, but we don't. Nothing. We are not required to have external validation from anyone about anything in any walk or area of life. And maybe that is what is causing these life draining cords, is to not accept that we don't need that external validation because it's something that's not being reciprocated fairly anyway. The two come out here that I had. Ooh, that was kind of cool how that one flipped over. Hopefully you guys can see. I don't know because I'm not in the camera. But it says stuck in old ways. This was not one of the ones that I got a just wanted to clarify that before I proceed ahead. Stuck in old ways, stubborn unwillingness to change or see outside of self perceptions. So, again, with the outdated beliefs, ideologies, and illusions that can fit there, but also with all of the other messages, they can also fit there. And the fact that it says stuck in old ways, that may mean that it's like a fight, flight, or survival mode currently for each one of us here in this collective. What else? What else is being hidden from us, or are we working through behind the scenes and we are unaware of as a collective humanity, or my collective that will be tuned in? So this one here says control and or attachment to an outcome. So control is an illusion. There's only so much that we can quote unquote control in this reality in terms of ourselves, how others perceive us, and what takes place. We can't have a level of sense of control if we feel like we are in unstable energy and not able to have that equal balance. Drop that control to an attachment or an outcome of any kind, again, in any way, especially when it comes to that external validation, because you don't need it. Any validation you will ever need comes from the understanding of yourself. Let's see if any of them here align with the ones that I pulled. Evil eye, jealousy, black magic, witchcraft, hexes, spells, voodoo, dark, ritualistic magic. I already spoke about that, and I've been feeling kind of hot since I started speaking about that. We have external perceptions and opinions, and I just wanted to talk about the external validation. Before I pulled this card, I was going to speak about it, but then I saw external, so I thought, well, I'll speak about it here together with this. There might even be somebody who is pulling away the external validation that you are seeking. Maybe it is in terms of spiritual service. People are seeing you from the jaded lens of their perception, and it is not from the true fullness of who it is that you are. And it's coming from their false self due to all of these things that they still have to process and work through. And so external and external came out here twice, as well as, again, with the things that people may be projecting or sending to you. But as well, we also have like the stuck in the old ways, stubbornness, control of an attachment or an outcome. So make sure that you are pulling yourself away from those things, as well, that you see yourself from the highest vantage point of perception and you accept who it is that you are fully, and even what is taking place that you are unaware of. The need to accomplish something desired by a certain age or time frame. This is one of the messages that came out twice earlier when I pulled for this collective. So that is an illusion, and we don't need to cap ourselves out as far as anything in life. It does not need to be accomplished at any point in time, because we are eternal, infinite beings. So that means that time is even elusive here. Now we have lack of faith, hope, love, justice, happiness, and joy. And that just may be because it's dense and intense, and we are being encouraged to take life in bite-sized pieces. As you can see with all of these ghosts that's shown up here, I stated earlier to you that there was only two that continued to come out earlier today. Now look, from this morning to this evening, how those two turned into all of this. So now we have shame, fear, grief, stress, worry, doubt, and insecurity. And I already spoke about that. Some of these things can be projected onto us from different media sources. And there are even like energetic radiation waves that sometimes cause us to be in fear or conflict. And of course, then that leads to the shame and the anxiety, the grief, the stress, the worry. So it's just like a snowball effect. So this one didn't come out, but I'm going to take it anyway. This is the one that aligned with the other one, and it was on the top of the deck. So it would be the next one in alignment anyway. But it speaks about cycles, karma, societal conditioning, and programming of the matrix mindset. So there are things that are predestined and predetermined for us before we even come here, even though we set ourselves with the contract, that those things are kind of out of our control. But do what you can to release the cycles and the societal conditioning and reprogram and reset and reframe your mindset. The way that society has things set up, it's no wonder we are living in survival mode. More often than not, we are living in lack due to limitation from the illusions that exist. And of course, when our energy is being pulled by external sources, it's going to be even harder for us to remain grounded, centered, balanced, and in our right aligned energy to see things from the highest vantage point of love. All of that being said, how is it that you can work through these things? Are there ways that they can be worked through, or is that an illusion due to the fact of how things are in the matrix? We can only do so much. So there we go again with removing the attachment to an outcome. I hope that you were able to take something from these messages. I may be found on YouTube only at Sacred Love 8, and I look forward to what Spirit has for you next.